So, what is LDA and how does it help?
What is LDA and how does it help? Right, this interesting treatment we do here at Nature Cures Clinic. Hi, I'm Dr. Greg Eckel. LDA stands for low dose allergen injections. And I came across this. I wrote my doctoral thesis on allergies and asthma. And you were asking, what did we do? That was it is a main focus of what we do here. And so I wrote my doctoral thesis in 2001, and on allergies and asthma. So we had a really good system to help people get off of their drugs, balance their immune system, and live vibrantly without meds and without allergies or asthma for that matter. And I was lecturing at the American Academy of Environmental Medicine, and I came across this LDA treatment. And I used to have 7 providers on the payroll here at Nature Cures, and it was sending providers to medical conferences was like sending kids into the candy store, right? Everybody would come back with, look at this great research, look at this new product, let's use it. It's going to really move the needle for our patients. And we'd run it through, 50 to 100 patients, and like crickets, nothing would work. We didn't see it. Like, okay, it worked in the lab, worked on that lab work, but we didn't get the result that we were looking for. Like, they didn't feel different. That's the biggest thing. Like, I like to say, I'm a clinician's clinician. I want to use what works. So I heard about this LDA, and everybody was like, "Oh, are you using it yet, doc?" And nope, not using it. And I'm not an early adopter on some things, and that was one that I waited. So I waited to the next year's conference to see, are they still using it? Are they still so gung-ho on this therapy? And they were. Lo and behold, they were. So I figured, okay, I better get trained on this. And LDA, Butch Schrader, is medical doctor, I believe is semi-retired now. I really credit him for being my mentor in this. And it came from, originally it was called EPD out of England. Dr. McEwen had created, and I forget what the EPD stands for. You can look it up online. But these were the initial injections, low-dose allergen injections in the United States. There was a physicians group created. I believe 10,000 people enrolled, and they were having really good success with desensitizing the immune system, and these folks were having less and less immuno reactions to environment, to food, chemicals, and basically rewiring the immune system. So what it is, it's a beta-glucuronidase, a small enzyme that takes almost homeopathic preparations of environmental allergens and food allergens. There's a low dose food, a medium dose food. Chemicals is another mix that we have. You put a little bleb underneath the surface of the skin, and you create an immune system response. So the beta-glucuronidase takes these mixes to the thymus gland, basically the school of your immune system. And I envision like a deck of cards, like, hey, immune system, knock it off. You know this tomato, this wheat, these peanuts. Now, if you have a true peanut allergen or celiac disease with wheat, this is not going to desensitize you, but this is more for sensitivities to foods. So it rewires and re-educates your immune system, and it makes your proverbial cup bigger. So the analogy that I give folks is, how full is your cup? When your cup is full with, there's genetics that gets poured in there, your stress level, your diet and exercise, environmental toxicity, allergens, etc. So when your cup runneth over, that's when you have symptoms. Just so happens the symptoms of allergies suck, right? They're, you're all inflamed and can't breathe, you're sneezing, all of that, right? The telltale signs, your eyes itch, etc. And so what we do is we lower the water out of your proverbial cup. So it takes about 4 to 6 injections. Now, when I brought them in, I only used them with my toughest cases. So there was about 5% of people that were not responding to my programs at that time. This was almost a decade ago. And I brought it in, I kind of cautious, new therapy, kind of taking the word of these studies that they did. I brought it in, and it helped these folks. I actually got 2 of Kaiser's top 5 most allergenic patients off all of their meds. using these injections. And you know, it's not just the injections. We're also doing Chinese medicine, diet therapy, you know, more holistic, whole person healthcare. And then every year since, it's like that therapy gets moved to the front of the line. So now it's basically the starting spot, because the injections are every 2 months. It's less of a labor intensive for somebody coming in regularly for acupuncture adjustments along those lines. Now, if they need that support, we definitely offer it to them. But the LDA, or low dose allergen injections, I haven't seen anything work as well for allergies, asthma. Chemical sensitivities as well is in that camp, and you need about 10 to 12 injections. So they happen every 2 months. There's a funky special diet. We call it the 3 critical days: the day before, the day of, the day after, and that's it for diet. We have people eliminate alcohol for 10 days. That, you know, not a problem for kids, but adults, really, that's a bigger thing. And there's things, you know, you don't need your antihistamines anymore. And you get off of the meds, and it is actually a very corrective therapy. That's what I like about it. Thanks for asking that question.